You're tuned into RX Radio. Movement prescribed. Brought to you by Prescript.com. A personalized approach to keeping you healthy and making your best even better. Your hosts, Dr. Jordan Shallow and Dr. Jordan Jiunta.
One thing I can't stand is sports friends from the American Northeast.
There's only one thing.
I said it. That's one thing I can't stand is sports fans from the American. Basically, if you're from
the
Boston,
Northeast,
if you're from Boston, I don't like Patriots fans. I don't like people who like Tom Brady. As a general rule, that's like a good axiom for me. If I got to get to know someone, and you're a big Tom Brady fan, historically speaking, meh.
So you wouldn't call him the GOAT?
No, there's a difference between liking someone and recognizing that they're the greatest of all time. The guy does have more Lombardis than like however many franchises combined.
So we're talking specifically personality traits.
The personality of someone who has a Tom Brady. None of my friends own Tom Brady jerseys. And that's like a hard rule. It's like, that's like on par with neon clothing. I feel like if you own a Tom Brady t-shirt, you go to a store specifically to buy matching workout clothes. Like you have some sort of sweat cool Adidas technology bullshit cutoff thing with the matching neon laces in your fucking shoes. You know what I mean? You're a grass stained New Balance dad. That's what you are.
All right.
I can't, again, stay in your lane. And this is where Tom Brady's got to like the TB12 thing. I think there's a certain level of value in professional athletes having their guy. I'm obviously biased in saying that because I'm the guy for a handful of professional athletes. But to utilize your God-given talent on this earth to deceit and bend the principles of science that me and you have gone through rigorous amounts of schooling and own personal experience to derive these first principles from, I think is manipulative. It's dishonest. Tom, throw the fucking ball. Wear your Uggs. Eat your avocado ice cream if you want. Have pillow fights with Gronk. I don't give a fuck what you do. Do not enter into the realm of rehabilitation. Egregious overstep. Thoughts?
He uses the word pliability.
Don't know what that means. It means I can bend you, right?
Capital letters body coach are things that, just from briefly
I know some
scanning,
strippers that call themselves body coaches.
Body coach.
100%.
I feel like a stripper should have a body coach.
Coco and Jasmine on OnlyFans, guaranteed body coach. If I'm hiring a trainer or like a strength coach as a professional athlete,
right, I
better see some fucking credentials. I want to see malpractice insurance. I want to see state ethics and licensure. I do not want to see a $350 ice foam roller.
Yeah.
I don't understand how the public does not see through this facade.
So I don't think a lot of people think of it logically, right? They think of it through the realm of this guy, he's the greatest. He has all this experience. I want to do what he does, and it's going to work the same way for me. Right? I think that's the train of thought that a lot of people have. But myself and yourself working with a lot of very gifted athletes, I think there's a big kind of dissonance between ability and the understanding of that ability.
I don't think anyone, like most people's desired outcome, I would imagine, is not to throw for a record number of yards. Right? I don't think many people who embark on TB12 or some sort of weekend warrior trying to make it to the league football player. So I don't understand why adopting the training, while we're on the topic, Chris Hemsworth. Why is this a thing? Have you looked into his app?
No.
That would be something worth pulling up while I rant about it.
All right, you go ahead, I'll go ahead.
Just as like Tom Brady is not an authority on anything other than dating outside of his league and eating avocado ice cream, it's like, why is Chris Hemsworth now an authority in fitness? He's in moderately okay shape for a guy his age.
Incredibly handsome, though.
What's that?
Incredibly handsome.
But, like, here's the thing. Do you think working out's going to make you more handsome?
I've always hoped that it would.
But do you think working out's going to get you into the league and allow you to win 7 fucking Lombardis? Right. I fundamentally cannot see, and maybe I'm so dissonant that when I enter into fields and I'm a consumer in other subdomains that aren't fitness, that I'm not as well versed in, that I'm falling right into these stupid traps blindly when I go purchase a vehicle or when I go buy shoes or whatever, things I don't really know much about, but I'm like, oh, like those seem cool, I'm going to go with that.
Right.
But it's like, I like to think I'm so jaded that when I see the word pliability and I hear someone talk about becoming a certified body coach, it's like, what are you, the assistant to the traveling secretary? No more useless job title exists on this planet than body coach. Yeah. What does that even mean?
It sounds like it's someone who's being sold a system, right? This is Tom Brady's system. This is what he does. This is his brand. And it's like catching flies on one of those like little rolls of sticky tape, right?
Go. I don't know. No, I know. Not right. Go. Explain that.
Tom Brady is this sticky tape, right? And it attracts these people that are going to be attracted regardless. And they're not necessarily there for the results. They're there for the Tom Brady.
Okay.
Right? So they're getting suckered into Tom Brady, and this is his thing, and I support Tom Brady, so I'm going to do Tom Brady's thing. So I'm going to do TB12. I'm going to get a body coach, and I'm going to be so damn pliable.
Dude, he is the Ned Flanders of pro athletes. Yet he dropped an... I bring this up every time he comes up. Does no one remember when he dropped the N-bomb? Like, that never happened? Dude, it's so funny how people can be like The Rock takes a ton of gear. A-Rod gets in shit for running gear and hitting dingers. The Rock was a viable candidate for president and has banged more cycles of steroids than anyone in Major League Baseball ever. He buys his mom an Escalade and eats a bunch of cookies on Instagram. All of a sudden, he's indemnified. Tom Brady, I don't know, what does he do? No one really knows. He kind of sits latent in the background. He's not very much a public figure outside of playing football. Drops the N-bomb. Everyone's like, oh, it was with an A. It was with an A. It didn't matter. It's like, that's not a rule book.
I don't even know about this happening.
Me and you came over the center of the plate hot with that. It's like, well, there goes RX Radio. But I just don't understand, buying a vehicle to someone and you're actually buying this vehicle. You're using fitness, but it's Tom Brady. Right? I don't get the link between that. I don't understand why people would do that. And not even to get into, do you think Tom Brady actually does this shit? Let's start there.
I highly doubt it's the same stuff that he does. Or maybe it is. I don't know.
How many days, and it's probably not often with you, but where you've programmed for your athletes and thought, yeah, no. Right? You're trying, but every day, I like to think of this. You know Jocko Willink?
Yeah.
I like to think Jocko does a Timex photo shoot where he just sits there on a Monday. I got to create content for the week. And Jocko just sits there with his Timex and just takes a bunch of different pictures and has some kid, some Filipino VA posting up at 4:30 in the morning. I would love the idea of Jocko crawling out of bed, putting on a Versace house coat at 9:30, stretching out in his mansion, getting a cup of coffee. And just answering back to all the comments of him supposedly awake at 4:30. Because you know what, man? At the end of the day, he's a human being. And I think people ascend guys like Brady, guys like this Hemsworth dude, guys like Jocko to this deity-like status because they don't have a deity to follow. It's all right, well, if I aim at something that I think is perfect, I'm going to fall short, but I'll be better than if I didn't have this thing. So I don't think people can handle... when Brady dropped the N-bomb, I don't think people's hearts could take that. Because you can't cancel Brady. He's the closest thing to Jesus that America has now. Literally. That final play, he could have just been walking on water and turning it into wine at the same time. But it's crazy to me that we nominate these people and ascend them to this. It's you get a certain level of status and cachet. You're kind of good at one thing, and all of a sudden you're just omnipotent and omnipresent everywhere. Brady could release, he sells alpaca shoes or whatever the fuck. He's as qualified to sell body coaching as he is to sell UGG shoes. But it's credentialing means nothing. It's such a cult of personality, and I don't understand what the motivation is that leads someone to purchase a product like a fitness system sold by a guy who's kind of got like a dad bod, but his wife is super hot and makes more money than him. Like, oh yeah, like that's how it's going to work. I'm going to be pliable, and then it's going to be nothing but runway models.
I mean, it doesn't sound much different to me than George Foreman selling like panini presses.
Yeah, but like, there's something in the sauce there, like.
Right. Do you not think it's just about money? He has a brand. He has a name. He has reach.
Sell boxing gloves. Right? But wouldn't that make more sense?
It would, but how many people eat paninis and how many people box?
Yeah, but here's my thought process is, okay, I can't comfortably... Look, the reason panini seemed like a great idea at a lunch somewhere, I've never ordered a panini because I can't possibly put those syllables... I can't look another man in the eye and be like... I'll have a panini. Even doing that to you, you're one of my closest friends on the planet. I felt some kind of way about that. Like, I just couldn't do it. I just don't.
I'm just hungry.
Is there market research that goes into this? Like, all right, Brady, let's monetize you as a human being. Well, as I'm kind of into this and whatever. Yeah, but what about ice foam rollers and alpaca shoes? We've been running the numbers, and we really think that this is going to be the avenue. And they go, great. Like, is it a calculated decision to go with these opportunities? Like, is there an agency that goes, all right, we've analyzed your demographic. You know, we see a hole in a market. Maybe we could fill it with like this angle. This is how the public perceives you. We've done a lot of focus groups on the issue. Or is Brady going, no, we're going to do this? Like, I can't imagine Brady's putting this thing together.
No, I'd imagine that there's just like stacks of paper that come across his desk. He signs off on it, and then someone else does all this shit with his name on it. That's kind of my picture at how this whole thing was formed and how it happened.
I don't know. I just... At what point do you see it as selling out?
Almost immediately.
Did Foreman sell out?
So it's hard to say because it's so easy for anyone to start a company like that nowadays, right? So, and no one actually has to be qualified to sell foam rollers and to body. Who's the governing body for body coaching?
Yeah, no, I don't know.
Is there a board for that?
Drug cartel, maybe?
Yeah. Like. So he's possibly making up this category so that he can sign off on it and have this kind of this group that is governed by him and his team of people who oversees it, and they're the ones that are kind of designing the brand around it, right? Because he's got to be one of the older players on the football field,
43.
right? And he's still winning rings. I think that's the selling point, right? It's not necessarily this is going to get you in the best shape of your life. This
longevity
is
play.
Exactly. It's longevity. And longevity is a different market than a kid trying to go to the league or someone trying to, squat as much weight as they can or whatever that other strength goal might be.
So you're assuming that there was a conversation had, all right, let's do something in fitness, but maybe let's capitalize on the fact that you're an older athlete in the league and that you could probably tap into like a baby boomer market that doesn't want to, like, what's his Harrison? Who's the guy who breaks his spine doing fucking sled pushes? Is it James Harrison?
I have no idea.
He used to play for the Steelers. Pushed like 1,000-pound sled, like awful. Like the worst technique. I'd never tell him that because he ripped me limb from limb. But it's like you don't want that Clay Matthews training program coming into a big like blue water market like that.
Right.
You don't want the front double bicep fucking 20-inch arm game if you're trying to reach a mass market. Do you think at a point there was a conversation like, Brady's like, okay, yeah, I like training. I've obviously been working out for a while. Maybe I want it to be more performance-based. And someone was like, Tom, have you thought about, you're getting a little older, man. Like, have you thought maybe we go into this much larger market that's unexposed from any sort of professional athlete?
Yeah. I mean, the more I think about it, the more I wish I was in this meeting. But I feel like it was just... Think about watching the Super Bowl. How many times do you think they mentioned his age?
Oh, dude, it was the focal point. It was
how many people around that age do you think were watching the Super Bowl from their couch?
Tens, if not hundreds of millions. At that age, probably tens of millions of people in that age demographic.
Right, so it's almost like a self-selected demographic at that point, right? It's like, who are you going to sell to? You're not going to sell, this program to this kid in high school that's, just starting out his career. He's not going to do the same thing as was he 46 years old?
43.
43?
This
43?
Yeah, I think
Fact check.
43. Yeah,
You guys are fact
I
check.
love having
Can we
video.
get that?
Dude, Lundy does it. Amazing. It's like bring up like young Jamie's in the house. Yeah, so 43. Yeah, they mentioned that in between every fucking play.
Exactly. So it's almost like, okay, you have this.
Right.
This is your thing. You're the old guy that keeps winning rings.
Right.
Let's be the old guy that keeps winning rings.
Sure.
And market to old guys that want to look up to the guy that keeps winning rings.
And the thing too, the beauty of and I don't know how well the business does. I'm assuming just by sheer volume of like organic reach, it does okay, right? Like their overhead's probably the stuff shipped out of China. I don't know who. You'd be interesting is to like do one of these on a podcast. Like have a coaching call and just come in and pretend like we don't know anything, and just dude, let's like an expose. Yo, that's a whole new RX radio thing.
Oh
we could
my
just
God.
be investigative journalist trolls. We could be like the John Oliver, like when he like made himself like he made the Daily Show or whatever, a Catholic church or like a church. And he like went through and did all the legal paperwork to make his show actually an organized religion. Dude, I would love to do that on the show and just be like, oh, really? Tell me what pliability is. And just record it and put it up as a podcast.
That'd be pretty hilarious.
Well, I just think to me, like the genius move is, yeah, you want to sell to your market, but it helps when your market has money, right? And that's the beauty of that pitch is like, yeah, the thing with 43-year-old people is by 43, most of them kind of got it figured out, at least more so than a 20-year-old. Right. So it's like there's so many things that overlap for that to be good. But at some point, it's so non-specific that it's unappealing. Right. Like there was a time early where people were telling me that, look, hyper-specificity is not a good move in business. But I think now, with the way technology is and the way people like minds can find each other and the way targeted ads can find like minds, that hyper-specificity is a win, right? So Tom, to me, with TB12, seems to be painting such a broad brush that he might not actually be reaching as many people. And when I say reaching, not like, obviously the Super Bowl people know who he is, TB12 and all the bullshit that comes with it is undoubtedly well known. When I say reaching, it's like reaching them at a point of sale. Like, are they, how much money do you think they're making? Like Chris Hemsworth's app, how much money could that be making? How many people?
Honestly, it's probably a lot.
Okay.
It's probably a lot of turnover,
right?
But it's probably a lot.
I could imagine now their ad spend on getting this in front of people. Obviously, Brady, I think, gets a lot more organic traffic because, you know, you're on the Super Bowl. The weekend's coming in, lost as fuck in that. What was that about? That was the worst Super Bowl halftime show of all time. Anyways, but I think something like Chris Hemsworth's app, that's going to take a lot to get people on board with it. Because I would imagine that some people just look at it, have no idea who the fuck he is, and go, well, he's handsome, so I'm going to buy it. But it's like, what is the burn rate on getting people through the door?
Yeah. I don't know that specifically. But to kind of speak to that other point is like, you and I were so far in this rabbit hole, right? We understand exercising the science behind it, front to back, side to side, right? So many people, they just say, I like the way that guy looks. I want to look like him. I'm going to do his program. And there's literally no more thought into it than that. So
so here's my thing with Brady. It's like, does he got a rig? Like, does Brady have a good physique?
I mean, I'm
going to clear my search history after this, and I'll tell you what I searched. Go.
Tom Brady, shirtless pictures.
Dude, 100. That's literally what I'm doing. Dude, he looks like a melted gummy bear. Are you fucking serious?
But again,
Yo.
He's the one that's selling longevity, right? He's not selling his six pack.
Dude, he looks like a melted gummy bear. What is happening here? No, dude, this guy's not selling anything. He's the before picture. He's selling the before picture. Look at this pale ass Ned Flanders motherfucker. Get out of here.
That is what peak performance looks like, Jordan.
Are you joking me? What? No, dude. This guy doesn't have an ounce of testosterone in his body. What happened? Wife's a piece, though. Just saying that. Moving on. I don't think it's aesthetic, which is the crazy thing with Tom, and I think that's something that whatever he is as this omnipotent, fucking omnipresent, you know, drop an N-bomb in the fucking in the alleyway out to the dressing room, he's beyond reproach. Like, and it's a weird ascension to see. Like, I would say him, Who else? The Rock again. Like it's crazy to me that Tom Brady sells training programs or whatever the fuck that is, and The Rock doesn't.
Didn't people just starting eating like 15 pounds of cod per day because of The Rock?
Dude, I feel like more people have gotten on the Rock cheat meal bandwagon than have gotten on the Rock 15 pounds of cod for an elliptical bandwagon.
All right.
I feel like people just do what's expedient. Like he also bought his mom an Escalade. I don't think many people are shelling out for their mom to get an Escalade. People just see what they want to see, but it's just I don't know. Brady has ascended to a weird point in as a pop icon, like a popular culture icon, where people there's no rationality in the way people think about him, right? Like he's just he's a brand. He's like Coca-Cola. Right, like you could come out with diet vanilla watermelon Sprite or something, and it's like you got enough market share that you're gonna be able to fucking sell it and make it profitable, because there is no logic for what we just saw to sell anything related with health and fitness.
Right, and that's honestly kind of a bad branding choice because look at Jordan.
Right.
How much are people buying Jordan? I don't even know if these are Jordans. I'm assuming
they're Nikes.
They're Nikes.
These are the
Nikes
fucking
and
these
Jordans
are joints though. Like these are come on.
It's the
right?
dunks, right? They're called the dunks.
These are not dunks, man.
No, they're not dunks, but the Jordans are dunks, right?
Oh, bro, come
is
on. I'll tell you what they're not. They're not fucking Metcons is what they are. I got a pair of Metcons
These
now.
aren't even Metcons.
No, man, so you got ones, you got fours, you got fives,
the four
you got
retros,
nines.
the
Dude, I got
grays,
I got
the off-whites.
sick pair of retro.
I know the words. I don't know what they mean.
And dude, I'm very new to the Jordan game, but when it comes to shoes. But Jordan as a brand, dude, he figured out where he fit in the cultural equation.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
But I think Brady didn't, but it also didn't matter. Now, I don't think Brady by any stretch of the imagination has the staying power. Like Jordan's just sitting there smoking cigars, laughing at everyone buying the same fucking shoes over again, right? I don't think Brady has that shelf life as a personal brand.
That's exactly what I'm saying, is that it's not the best way to position yourself, in my opinion, because who cares about foam rollers? People buy foam rollers and then never use them because no one cares about foam rollers. So if you're looking to position yourself in a brand that's going to become something that's, a legacy like the Jordan brand, it's not foam rollers and body coaches.
So here's the problem, and I think Brady would have, even if Brady found a better product market fit to what he is, no one knows what he is. Right? Like, he's the most elusive, recognizable person on the planet. Like, no one's pinning this guy down. There's no TMZ shit. Like, Jordan was in the public eye. Jordan did fucking Space Jam. Like, Jordan's opposite. Brady's not doing none of that.
Yeah.
Like, he's going home and he's, playing with his kids and his hot wife, and he sits when he pees. And that's, Brady's whole game. That's his whole jam. Other than that, we don't know much about him. But tell me I'm wrong.
Maybe if he's gotten, the sunscreen market, high SPF, 70 and above.
He's a walking before picture for melanoma is what he is. Why is there so many beach photos of this soon-to-be lobster? I don't know. And obviously, he makes enough money playing sports, right? His contracts are probably far and above, given the time that he's playing what Jordan's were, right? He's making, I don't know what he's making. He just signed another year contract extension with the Bucks, so he's probably making a pretty penny. And his wife's pulling bank, too. His wife makes more money than him. That's the ultimate power play. I know some dudes who aren't comfortable, if their old lady's doing real well. And, I know some guys who have, low-key left their girls because they're more powerful. And, they make more money. And I'm like, dude, that's the ultimate flex. Because she has no reason to be with you. That Giselle chick has no reason to be with Brady. Because you're not in it for the looks. You're clearly not in it for the looks. Right, he's got the weird veneers that are just, I don't dig. Anyways, but he's got the fucking weird dad bod. Unless he's rocking a Pringles can, I don't, right? That's the only reason. She's got hers, man. She's making her money.
Fuck.
I think that's the ultimate flex. But I think with the Brady Jordan conversation, because obviously the conversations come up even on the podcast about all right, GOATs, right? It's one thing to try and go LeBron Jordan, and you end up in the inevitable rabbit hole if it's a different game now than it was back when Jordan was playing. Then people try and stretch it out past sports through generations of okay, greatest ever Jordan versus Brady, it's like, well, you can't do it within basketball. How could you do it across basketball and football? Yeah. But it's like with legacy and with branding and with pop culture icon, like Jordan is forever.
Yeah.
Like Jumpman, forget the second you're a Drizzy Drake song, like you won. Brady's in some Drake lyrics, but there's not a song called Tom Brady, right? There's literally a song by Drake called Jumpman. Like, you have ascended into a level. So I just think, and again, it's not about money for them because it's just an object, but Brady's an enigma to me because his lack of social profile. To be that much, like every fucking early February, the whole world's talking about Tom Brady, right? He's in the Super Bowl. He's going to make it happen. Yeah. But the second February 3rd hits, or, after the parade, and he's throwing the thing and pissing everyone off. Like, he totally skated on all that stuff. There was a lot of, like, the Lombardi family was, like, pissed that he threw the thing on the boat in Tampa to Gronk. It's like, dude, Lombardi, guess what? Guess who's had that trophy more than you? Him. It's his fucking trophy now. It's a Tom Brady trophy. He can throw the Tom Brady trophy how the fuck he wants. But, dude, you don't hear a word. He just goes away. Like, he's just, everyone and sports has adopted a 24-hour news cycle just like CNN has. You watch ESPN, it's a bunch of guys in terrible suits just talking about all these projections. Brady's just never in the conversation. He's somehow been able to hack the system where he is in the limelight for like maybe the last 4 weeks of the season. Like, they were uncertain. Brady kind of took control of the team after like week 10, took him in. It was like, yo, we're going to do this, wins, and then he fucks off. I don't trust people who can like manipulate the system like that. Because, dude,
do you think it's that he's manipulating the system, or you think he doesn't want to fuck with it? If he's 43, dude, he's not necessarily in it for the fame and the limelight at that stage of his life, right? He's in it probably for the love of football, for the game, probably a little bit ego-driven to retire as the best ever.
I don't think it's his decision to make.
In what way?
In what way? He is the most prolific professional athlete on the planet, and no one pays any attention to him. That's not, dude, media decides. And for some reason, media has decided to leave this guy alone. Like,
do you think no one actually pays attention to him, though? Because I know nothing about football.
Right.
I don't follow football, but I know Tom Brady.
Sure. But you just know what he wants you to know. And there's a lot that we know about people that they don't want us to know. Like, where is that with Brady? Like, it's too clean.
So you're saying it's going to be like a Tiger Woods story?
I'm saying I want it to be. No, I want it to because it'll make him human. That would make Brady more likable. If there's just the video of like what was Tiger Woods had, like his wife got the 9-iron to the Escalade and backed into a tree. Like, I would love for Giselle to coming out whipping a tight spiral, putting it right through the back of the Ferrari. Like, who's fucking Coco? Because at least he's a human being now. Because Tom Brady's a simulation. He's made by the government or something.
Are we all a simulation, though?
Dude, no, but he's different. Like, he's deep state shit. Tom Brady is a construction of the deep state to keep Americans occupied. Like, he's an ace in the hole. He's an agent provocateur just that hasn't been mobile. Like mark my words, there'll be some crazy American shit that goes on, and within the week that it happens, like, America's going to invade some country, and you're going to figure that Tom Brady's going to have a huge scandal. Like, the deep state is hanging on to Brady, like, in case of emergency, break glass. Giselle, come in, start throwing stones, beat the shit out of him a little bit. Like, we need a big distraction because we're over in fucking Stan country blowing some shit up. What? That fucking exclusive. You heard it here first.
So it's the CIA protecting Brady's dark secrets and saving them as a protection mechanism.
He's just an agent. Like, they're just going to activate him into the public light when there is a giant other world event that the U.S. is fucking up on. It's a distraction. It's a shell game.
Totally legit.
Dude, I swear I'm onto something. If I'm fucking right about this, if I'm right about this, I want a goddamn apology.
You got it, man.
That would be. So here's the thing. It's just good timing. It's like, have you ever met broads that get? Sorry, I said it. I don't care. Have you ever met women who got into horoscopes? Like, who try and tell you that you're a jackass because you were born in June. Like, what are you, a Sagittarius? Oh, I know your type. It's like, oh, yeah, all right. One of us is telling their true colors, and it's not me because I was born in June or whatever the fuck. That, to me, is like, if you read a horoscope, they're so overgeneralized that they're guaranteed to be kind of sort of right. Tom Brady is a human being, I think. He's going to make a mistake. I could not imagine the level of temptation that comes of being a Tom Brady. Right? Like, you've won the world. You've won. If this is a game, you've won. You've ascended any sort of consequence. Like, you know, the Saudi Arabian guys that are trillionaires, and they just do, like, I don't know, what do you want to do? Buy people? All right, yeah, that sounds cool. Whatever. Like, we're too big to fail. So the inevitability is that Tom Brady will make a mistake or something will come out. So it's not me being premonitious. It's like, okay, nothing's just come out yet. He's not God. He is a human. He will fuck up because all humans fuck up. And then the U.S. is going to just pull some shit because the U.S. is always pulling some shit. And just these two events will coalesce eventually. The U.S. is nonstop pulling shit. Tom Brady's a human being that has to make a mistake. So I don't want to be premonitious, but I think at a certain point, those two things could superimpose.
All right.
I just think there's no way. The guy's too clean. Like, have you ever been to Singapore?
No, I have not.
Singapore is so clean that you know someone is suffering. Like, you're walking through the park and you're going like, yo, there's literally dog robots picking up trash. And then next thing you know, it's like, because if you spit gum out, they're going to hang you, right? That's how it works in Singapore. So it's so nice. It's like, this is like utopian, maybe dystopian nice. That's Brady.
I see.
I'm telling you, man, the guy's got to be like a deep state agent. Like, yo, Brady, you're going to have to pull some shit. We're over in Iran fucking pulling nuclear weapons or something. Like, we need a distraction. And, dude, that would ruin people. The emotional investment that people have into Tom Brady, especially if you're some jackass from New England, right? Like, that is their god. That's like telling a 5-year-old girl that the tooth fairy doesn't exist. Like, Tom Brady being anything other than this omnipotent, omnipresent, perfect human being. Like, the white picket fence, cherry pie on the fucking windowsill, all-American tomato soup guy, that would rock people. That whatever else is going on in the world, that will be the biggest story.
So when it goes down, do his fans support?
Oh, do people from New England?
Yeah, like his fans.
So they go through the stages of grief, right? They deny it. They go through whatever those 5 stages of grieving are.
What do you think
because God is dead. That's what it'll be.
Ban Brady, maybe?
Hey?
Ban Brady?
Oh, I think that'll be a movement. I think that'll be a big... I mean, it's not going to happen now, but watch. It is an inevitability that some dirt has to come up on this guy. Right now, it's like the social machine hasn't decided that it can or is rightfully armed with the evidence needed to. But, like, he's had a few blunders before. There's some people out there that if they let M-bomb slip, they'd be gone. Right? Like, we just pulled up that story of the guy in the NBA. It's like different racial slur, and he was on some Twitch stream thing rather than on ESPN on Thursday Night Football. But he got slapped with a $50,000 fine. There's going to be some tweets, and I've never heard of this guy.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, it's almost like, you know what it is? Remember when CrossFit was popping chicks in like the Dominican for running like D-ball and trend? And they were in 8th place in some region that no one cared about? It was just like, we're really trying to clean up, the behavior of CrossFit. It's like, hold on. If the girl in Sao Paulo was running trend base before the event and she got 8th in the region that no one cared about, can we see what the fuck's going on over in Iceland? Because they're doing really good. Or whatever Toomey's doing down in Australia, like, she's doing really good. Yeah. So it's almost like it's almost like they use some of these people like social sacrifice. Like, yeah, buddy on the Twitch stream, Myers, whatever the fuck his name is, should he have said it? No. Like, it's a dumb thing to say, to go rage quit on a thing when you're a professional athlete. Is it acceptable of anyone of any job? Like, if you're an office manager at fucking Staples, you shouldn't be saying that shit. But it's a weird social outrage machine that I can read an article in fucking, on Times website about some point guard that like doesn't get any playing time. But everyone can see Brady, and the whole machine goes, nothing to see here, guys, but just wait.
So do you think it's because he's in a position of power that nothing's come out about him? Like, you hear about that whole shit with, like, the royal family going on, how they were like, oppressing the I don't know their names. The son like married a half African American woman.
Meghan Markle.
What?
From Suits? Meghan Markle?
Yeah.
Oh, nod his head. You know.
Yeah, dude. So like they're talking about like all the dirt's like coming out now. Do you think it's something where like his legacy is so powerful they're able to cover it up?
I think enough people in the right places have enough financial interest in Brady's success, given who endorses him.
Yep.
Like Tiger at a point was expendable when that shit went down, right? Like when that shit was, Tiger wasn't at his peak, right? Tiger was having a rough couple of years with his back. Probably slamming out Swedish hookers. Not the best thing for your back if you got a lot from our professional perspective. You shouldn't be doing that. So it was like, I don't know. We need a scapegoat. GM didn't need him. Cadillac didn't, or whatever the fuck. The Buick Enclave didn't need Tiger Woods anymore. So he's dispensable. Brady right now is indispensable. He's indispensable as an asset from a marketing perspective with backings that has way too much money. And like, dude, the royal family, it's too big to fail. Right, especially if you got Meghan Markle on the roster, that's not going anywhere. Just saying, absolute piece. But yeah, I don't know. I would respect Brady more as an athlete because it would make him a human being. Because right now he's not a real person. Like he's like Tupac at Coachella. Like he might as well be this fucking hologram throwing Hail Marys. Like he's just not real.
I'm gonna throw a scenario out there.
Go.
You might not like it. What if he's actually just fucking boring as dirt?
Oh, like he's just like in bed by 7:30, like starches his fucking nightcap and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a good story, man.
It's not.
I don't know.
It's nowhere near as entertaining as everything else you just said.
But I don't know. Like, there's too much. No one has beat this game, right? Fame, undefeated. We're not meant to. Like, we're not meant to have. We go places and people know us. We're idiots, right? It's so strange. Like, when I ever get, like, I get free admission into gyms, and I'm like, please just let me pay the $20 or whatever it is. Like, oh, no, I follow on Instagram. I'm like, that's weird. This guy doesn't have to pay for literally anything, and people give him hundreds of millions of dollars. There's no way that this guy's not thinking, like, yeah, I could probably get away with it. Right? It's in the DNA, man. We're wired to overreach. And you're going to tell me the guy with the most amount of access and reach and indemnification in the world isn't like, I don't know what it could be, but dude, I swear to God, when it comes out, it's going to be biblical. No?
I mean, I'm not saying I disagree. I think that is a lot of times human nature is people will, once they have approval, especially from the masses, they go to a dark place, or not necessarily a dark place, but they push the limits. Right. You hear the story like fucking R. Kelly like peeing on 13-year-olds and shit, and like, did you see that documentary on Michael Jackson? I couldn't sleep for like probably a solid 3 days after that.
Well, I never saw it. What was it go?
Oh, dude.
It's like the whole Macaulay Culkin shit, like Neverland Ranch?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's about like all the kids that like they interview like a couple of the kids that he supposedly like sexually assaulted.
Right.
And it gets fucking weird and pretty explicit at some point.
But dude, this is what I'm saying though. Like there was a time where no one could have imagined that like the Thriller fucking album was the most purchased album of all time.
Yeah, and there's these people that are, this came out, they'll say he's dead, he can't tell his side of the story. Definitely true. Who the fuck knows if it's true or not, but there's this story out there probably for a reason. Right, so it's probably not completely fabricated. Maybe it's not. I'm sure that if I'm watching it on a documentary, they're trying to make it
like you're saying,
more
if there's smoke, there's fire.
Right, exactly. There's probably something going on if people are saying something's going on.
I would love to see a collection of people, like a list of, because you only hear the bad stories, right? You only hear like the Jerry Sandusky, the fucking Bill Cosby shit,
right?
But it's like, you hear those so not often, because obviously when you're dealing with people of that level of status, they're pretty rare. But I would love to see a list of like the most unimpeachable people who've reached a certain level of fame. Because, dude, I think that's again, it's a small list of people who reach that level of fame, period. but it's like they all seem to be human beings at the end of the day, and that their proclivity for weirdness seems to just be scaled by their ability to access more indulgent means of entertainment or whatever.
So do you think this is tied to, what's his name, Jeffrey Epstein?
Wait, hold on. Do I think Brady is somehow tied to the Epstein thing?
I feel like we have to take it there.
I don't know enough about that one, if I'm being honest. That was that gained too much popularity for me to give a shit. And I love Wayfair. So I think because the Wayfair thing got too low.
Were they the same thing?
Because Wayfair came out around the same time that people were like selling children. And then it was like deep state government. What was the fucking chemical that they were trying to get out of the kids?
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Fuck, dude. Like adrenochrome or
yeah,
something?
adrenochrome or whatever. And it's like, dude, we have a Wayfair professional account. That's how much furniture I fuck with. So I fuck with Wayfair, and I haven't bought a single. Like I haven't hey, I'm waiting for my chaise lounge to show up, but there's a little Portuguese kid here. I don't know. I think something got lost. But I don't know enough about the Epstein thing, man, to like really go deep on that because he was like a point of leverage. Right, he was used by the idea was he was used by some deep state organization to compromise individuals to get them to do what he want. Like, yo, let's get you out on an island, let's get you fucking slamming a few kids, and then now we have you compromise, we'll get you to do whatever you want. Is that kind of the go?
I think that's the gist of it.
Yeah.
So,
do you think that is plausible?
I think anything is plausible.
Okay,
I'll start there. I think that the things that are really fucked up that are going on, that are absolutely going on, we're not going to find out about. Like these deep state, like
Brady. Like Brady is like,
who the fuck knows,
dude? I swear that the world is so crazy right now that if we can all kind of sit back and what little I heard about the Epstein thing was like, all right. The whole how he died alone was like this seems like the Clintons were involved, right? This seems like this guy just got Gaddafi'd, right? In like the middle, like, oh, I don't know, he didn't make it out of the prison cell. It's like, yeah, okay. He definitely killed himself in a way that doesn't seem plausible. It's almost like they made it so like you could make it way more believable, but it's like they want to implant the doubt just so you know how powerful they are. Just so it's like the OJ thing in a certain way. It's like everyone knows this guy did it, right? Like Ford had to cancel the Bronco for like 25 years because this guy definitely did it. Like, do you think Ford would have canceled that vehicle if he got off and everyone was like, no, he was wrongfully accused? Absolutely not. We're going to pull this fucking thing from production. Why? Because you didn't see this video down 95? Well, obviously. So it's like, I don't know, the court of public opinion always sort of like reigns true in those situations. So the Epstein thing is like, I think it's proof of concept that what I'm saying could be true. I'm saying Tom Brady is an agent of the deep state that is going to be activated as a distraction to something going like, hey, if you're at a water cooler and it's Brady fucking with a bruised face, Chris Brown, Giselle, Rihanna situation, like he just goes 12 rounds bare knuckle on his wife and it's all makeup and none of it really happened. And there's some shit like we're fucking dropping a nuclear weapon somewhere. There's sarin gas in some middle of Iran. You're at a water cooler. What do you talk about? What are you talking about? You talk about this because that's such a pearl. That's such a flashbang. I swear to God. And I don't want it to be true. I don't want the sarin gas.
I don't know if I... yeah.
I don't want the atrocities in the Middle East to be true.
Right.
But it's like, I feel it in my bones, man. Like just how things seem to coalesce. Like the way this happens, then this happens. It's so predictable.
So do you think there's a link between body coaching, TB12, and Scientology?
Oh, body coaches are just, yeah, man. Body coaches are the sleeper cells.
What level do you have to pay until you get eternal
Steph was
forgiveness?
In Scientology, eh? We got to talk about it on the podcast with her tomorrow. Steph was raised in Scientology.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
That'll be one for tomorrow. But leave your comments below because this is going to be on YouTube. This is RX Radio. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, whatever you decide to call it. iTunes, Spotify, full-length audio. Check us out, prescript.com. Leave your comments on whether or not you think Tom Brady is an agent of the deep state, waiting to be activated to distract the world from mass atrocities performed by the U.S. government. This is going to get banned from YouTube.
I have no idea what to think. Yeah, just because you implicated the U.S. government.
Mind blown. All right, guys. We'll see you next week.
We'll see you.